My college roommate stole my startup idea and became famous for it, but 3 years later he accidentally triggered a contract that made me richer than he ever became. The craziest part is that he had signed the paperwork himself. Back in college, my roommate Tyler was the kind of person who always wanted recognition. If a group project received an award, Tyler wanted everyone to know his contribution. If someone else succeeded, Tyler found a way to make the conversation about himself. At the time I thought it was harmless. We actually got along pretty well. During our final year, I started building a platform designed to connect local businesses with temporary workers. The concept wasn't revolutionary, but my approach to matching workers and employers was unique. I spent almost 2 years developing prototypes. Tyler often watched me work. He asked questions. He offered suggestions. He acted supportive. Then graduation arrived. I accepted a stable job because I needed income. Tyler moved to another city. Everything seemed normal. 6 months later, I opened a business news article and nearly dropped my phone. Tyler had launched a startup. A startup using my exact idea. The branding was different. The design looked different. But the underlying concept and matching system were unmistakably mine. I felt sick. At first I considered legal action, but lawyers explained that proving ownership would be expensive and difficult. I didn't have the resources. Tyler, meanwhile, started appearing in interviews. Investors loved him. Funding poured in. Every success story felt like another punch to the stomach. Then I discovered something that made everything worse. Several notes and prototype documents I had shared with Tyler during college had been used almost word for word in investor presentations. I couldn't believe it. For a while I became obsessed with what happened. I checked company updates constantly. I imagined confrontations. I replayed old conversations in my head. Looking back now, that obsession probably hurt me more than Tyler ever did. Eventually I forced myself to move on. I focused on my career. I stopped following startup news. That's when life became interesting. About 3 years later, I received an email from a law firm. I assumed it was spam. It wasn't. The lawyer asked whether I had ever signed an intellectual property collaboration agreement with Tyler during university. Suddenly I remembered something. During a business competition, Tyler and I had signed a generic partnership document required for participation. Neither of us paid much attention to it. The next thing I found out completely changed everything. The agreement contained a revenue-sharing clause covering future commercialization of jointly developed concepts submitted to the competition. We had submitted my platform idea. Tyler had signed it. The document had been forgotten for years because nobody expected the project to become valuable. Now investors were preparing a major acquisition of Tyler's company. During due diligence, lawyers discovered the agreement. That should have been the end of the story, but it actually got worse for Tyler. Investigators started reviewing old emails and competition records. Those records clearly showed I had created the original framework before Tyler became involved. Suddenly the acquiring company had concerns. Lots of concerns. The deal paused. Investors demanded explanations. Board members became nervous. Then came the final twist. Instead of fighting in court, the acquiring company offered a settlement. A very large settlement. They wanted clean ownership and no future disputes. As part of the agreement, I received a percentage of the acquisition value. The amount was more money than I had earned in my entire life combined. The irony was unbelievable. The very company Tyler built using my idea ended up funding my financial freedom. A few months later, I ran into him at an industry event. For the first time, he looked genuinely exhausted. He apologized. Not because he felt guilty, but because he regretted how expensive his decision had become. That told me everything I needed to know. Today I invest in startups and mentor young founders. Whenever someone asks about protecting their ideas, I tell them the same thing. Success isn't just about building something valuable. It's about documenting your work so the truth can survive long after memories become convenient. Looking back now, having my idea stolen felt like the worst thing that could happen. It ended up becoming the event that changed my entire future.